All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. What's up, people? How you doing? Thanks for being here early. Thanks for dropping links. Oh, Swami. Oh, Swami. Say what? Good links. We're gonna end up talking about the DC event some more, and I apologize, but it's tying into other things, like the whole South Africa Afrikaner thing, and other issues. I do like this article though. What is this? UN warnings the possible liquidation of human freedom and democracy instrumented by neurotechnologies. Whoa. This looks deep. I want to read it. What? Oh my God. Hold on. I'm reading it. I'm trying to host a show and read this at the same time. Oh my God. Brain jacking may involve the theft of information, violation of the right to mental privacy. In addition, viruses could be introduced, or internet connected neural devices might make it possible for individuals or organizations, hackers, corporations, or government agencies to track or even manipulate an individual's mental experience. Already happening. Already happening without the devices. They already told you they were doing it on Reddit and on Facebook and everywhere else. Don't even need the implants. You're welcome. Already been brain jacked. Ooh, brain jacked. Brain jacked. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to read that one. Let's look at this, the white genocide thing and the visiting of the South African president to the White House and how ridiculous that was. Ridiculous that was. Just dumb on a level of painful. If you want to make the claim or make the case that white genocide in South Africa demands urgent U.S. attention, let me put this on the screen, and state resources, it might be worth doing a bare minimum of credible research. Trump claims this photo is a mass grave of white farmers, but it's actually black prisoners in the Congo. Doy. And he's smiling like this idiot. Okay. This knucklehead. Simply look up The American Thinker, the article that he's waving a printout of, and you'll discover the image is a YouTube screenshot depicting an incident from February in which Congolese women prisoners were reportedly killed. Maybe like 5 minutes of preparation would have been helpful. It echoes the dork factor of the whole interview where he was told that the MS-13 picture was doctored and he just couldn't cop to it. Bella says Havana syndrome is downplayed by the government and media. I'm sure it is. Turns out the two so-called Jews killed in DC were Christian. Yeah, and then there's lots of people just pointing out the silliness of the whole story. The story is falling apart. So they tried it for a day. The story is falling apart, and the more people that can point out that the story is falling apart, the more they don't really have, the intestinal fortitude to keep on going with the whole, no, we gotta, oh my God, yeah. Everybody's like, we see you, fool. We can see you. We see what's happening. You want to keep trying? Oh my God, I got a little overzealous with the coffee drinking. Jesus. Calm down already. Just try to relax. Okay, we got more on this. Let's not take up too much time on one post. Here's a South African billionaire and the country's richest man, Johan Peter Rupert, telling Donald Trump that there is no white genocide in South Africa to his face in the Oval Office, to add to the dumb factor, or the dumbass factor. But he says something interesting at the end of the clip, though, which would gives me pause if it doesn't give you pause. Let's listen.
President, if you had
Maybe somewhere
wind all of those tapes properly, you will see I'm the biggest target of that rabble rouser. Number one for over 10 years, Mr. Malema. In fact, the first time I met him, he was in the youth league with that gentleman. And look how he's changed.
Right.
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board.
He says we have too many deaths and it's across the board. That means
it's not only white farmers, it's across the board. And we need technological help.
The technological help part is the one that gives me pause. He's like, we need drones and surveillance and stuff. And that's the part that's like, I don't really. That's going to help.
We need Starlink at every little police station. We need drones. I actually got drones.
I got drones. Those are different from drones. Drones.
Donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped the importation because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean, US basics, the ridicule. So if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York would be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board. And he's right now.
That's it. That's all we need to hear. He's just saying it's not just white farmers. Anyways. And this story is likely just blown up for a specific reason. And the specific reason why is because South Africa is one of the leading countries calling for sanctions and or actions against Israel for the genocide. The White House admit the reason for targeting South Africa was because they took Israel to the ICJ. In addition, South Africa has taken aggressive positions toward the United States and its allies, including accusing Israel, not Hamas, of genocide in the International Court of Justice and reinvigorating its relations with Iran to develop commercial, military, and nuclear arrangements. Oh. So it's really about the fact that they're messing with the world order. It's really about that, it seems like. We're live on X, by the way. They let us go through today, whatever was happening yesterday. Or at least I think we're live on X. Don't let me talk too soon. Somewhere in here. Well, X is being funny anyways. Why are you being so funny? No. Well, I think we're live on X. Yes, we are. Finally. Finally. I was trying to get Sylvester the cat. Also, so a couple people talking about the fact that this was this big news story. We talked about this yesterday a little bit. Neurotechnocracy. Scary. Scary Larry. There was so much loss of life. We decided to pull it. Israel says their soldiers didn't realize they were firing at diplomats and apologized for any inconvenience caused. Please tell me how you confuse diplomats for armed militants. You don't, because you're firing at everyone. Sanction Israel. This is Adam. This was the leading story on the day prior to this supposed calamitous event. Calamitous. Something like that. Blakely saying this got swept out of the news real quick. Israeli soldiers opened fire on European diplomatic delegation at the eastern entrance of the Jenin refugee camp, West Bank. The incident occurred during an official visit. And as James Lee pointed out, it's insane that they did that. And the way they reacted to it is also insane, like way out of control. A couple more takes on this incident, the alleged incident. It's alleged incident. Alleged. So you're telling me 2 Israeli diplomats got killed across the street from an FBI field office outside a Jewish museum that had closed 4 hours earlier, and one day after Israel fired at European diplomats, and Europe was talking sanctions, and you don't think it's a FF. When you realize that FFs are an integral part of Israeli foreign policy, a lot of things make sense. True. Anybody with a throne can see it's true. I'll say, It's pretty funny. Well, look at this. Look at this clip of what happens as they're arresting this guy. So there's a keffiyeh on the ground, and this, we don't know whether he dropped it or not because it wasn't actually in his possession. But this gentleman picks it up and tries to hand it to him, and this guy's like, "Get that out of here!" And as Noctis Draven says, "Director, all right, guys, nice work. Let's take 5 before the arrest." David, damn it, David, pick up the keffiyeh and get it off the set. Or keffiyeh, however you want to pronounce it. Stagehand, but I thought the shooter should have it, so people know he's a bad guy. Director, just get it out of the frame, David. We're going to have him say "Free Palestine" so people know. Director, sound. Where the fuck is our sound out? We're about to go to scene 2 for the arrest. Sound tech, sound is ready, sir. Director, good. All right, guys, someone call Pam Bondi and set out the green light to our people. We're about to make the arrest, and after our shooter says "Free Palestine," we're going to walk them out and cut scene. Let them know to release statements no sooner than 30 minutes after we release the footage. Assistant, yes, sir, but, sir, Pam is still in makeup. She needs 10 minutes. Director, fine. Let's take some time to clean setup. And for God's sake, someone untuck our shooter. It should look like a goddamn arrest, not a job interview. Assistant, sir, we have makeup and effects and blood at scene or on the shooter. Should we have it on the scene or on the shooter? That wasn't in the budget. Just untuck the shirt. Is the shooter's page ready? His manifesto? Assistant, manifesto ready, sir. Text says his social media will be gone shortly. We're good to go, sir. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Having a hard time swallowing the news lately? You need a good dose of believe it all. Bella says Trump is repudiating mutually assured destruction, the doctrine of strategic deterrence and practical effect between Washington and Moscow for more than 60 years. All right. Let's keep going. You guys hanging in there. It is Friday. I've got a cut. It does, doesn't it, Kate? I've got a cut, guys, like 5 minutes before noon at least. I've got something to do right at noon o'clock. So just letting you know. Here's another take on this. One more. I know we've covered a lot of this over the last couple of days, but it's worth sussing out. Did Elias Rodriguez even shoot anyone? First report said the shooter fled on a motorcycle. Nobody saw Rodriguez shoot anyone. He self-reported. Witnesses say he was visibly in shock and thirsty. No gun on him. MK Ultra hypnosis? Someone asked. Let's see. A little more on this. Event, humanitarian aid for Gaza, targets 2 Christian Jews, Mossad, perfect. They're messianic Jews. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Well, you're still taking a fuck it all? All right. Whatever works for you, brother. Whatever works. Let's see. Netanyahu says Free Palestine is today's version of Heil Hitler. Which, I'm sorry to say this, but makes Kanye West's song even more relevant. Do you understand? Do you get that one? What a maroon. He just called hundreds of millions of people Nazis. They're literally trying to cancel the world, which is what he's saying in his song for the people that are offended. I know you're offended by the words, but that's what he's saying, literally what he's saying in the song. And Netanyahu is just literally reinforcing what Kanye West is saying in his song. So thanks, Netan. What? They're taking all the power away from the term anti-Semite. Are they doing this on purpose? Oh, that's a good one. Look at that. Yikes. That's pretty much it. Somebody says, did Netanyahu just say Free Palestine equals Heil Hitler? Like the whole planet isn't witnessing a Holocaust in Gaza. Calling hundreds of millions of people Nazis because they oppose genocide. If he weren't so evil, he'd keep his mouth shut. But that's what happens when people get too much power. When they get a little drunk on their power. I'm going to leave this up for just a second. Right? They start when people get too drunk on their power, they start just admitting to their evil doings, just right out in public. Jimmy Savile used to do that, right? I'm sure Jeffrey Epstein used to do that. Oh, and Diddy used to do that too. Back in the day, there's lots of clips of Diddy admitting to doing really evil, weird stuff, like right out in public, like on tape. Okay, comedy break. This isn't even possible. This is ridiculous. They're saying that, remember the bombing in Palm Springs, the IVF clinic bombing? Gallons of Elon Musk's sperm were destroyed in Palm Springs IVF bombing. Dude, I mean, think about that for a second. It's not even, it's, is it possible to have gallons? Oh my God. Ugh. It's a gag worthy moment. I mean, this is literally something they're saying is true on the news, which is, yeah, which makes me not trust the news. You know, that's just not even, come on. That's a dumb story. That is a really, this is not real. Sorry. I think I've been schnookered. It's not gallons. This is not a real story. This is not a real story. I thought that was funny. You want to listen to it?
The FBI has confirmed that several gallons of Elon Musk's sperm have been destroyed in the bombing of an IVF clinic in Palm Springs, California. This comes as yet another devastating blow to the billionaire who recently failed to convince the world that he was really good at video games.
Okay, so what is really going on with the world's richest guy? And why were there so many gallons of his sperm at this IVF clinic? Channeling Painter is here with the details. Channeling.
Good morning. So the White House and Elon Musk have confirmed that Elon is physically unable to reproduce like a normal human being. So rather than feel the soft, delicate touch of a woman, he instead stockpiles large quantities of his sperm at IVF clinics.
Why the need to store so many large jugs of his sperm, though? Wouldn't a small vial be enough to get the job done?
Well, because his sperm is already weak and riddled with ketamine, the clinics require a significant quantity just to fertilize a single egg.
Here's the thing. We've been expecting him to kill himself any day now. Is he going to do it?
All right. This was a comedy break. Ha ha. All right. Cleanup will take weeks and lots of tissues. Okay. Let's see. Where are we going? Guys, if you like the show, you want to support the show, supporting the show is a super awesome thing to do. Please support the show wherever you can. Lots of you support the show already. You know who you are. I appreciate you. There are lots of ways to support the show. There are links in the description box of whatever channel you're watching on. All the usual suspects are there: PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, Zelle, Patreon, Substack, what else? Buy me a coffee, Ko-Fi, etc. Not entertaining nor news. All right. I was like, this is funny. Can't even be real. It's not real. Okay. This can't be. It couldn't be. Say it ain't so. All right. Well, this is the neighbor of the supposed shooter saying things that are, well, logical. He's wearing a Bernie hat, by the way. I don't know what that means, but why is he wearing a Bernie hat?
We have 2 people dead in D.C. We have 50,000 dead in Gaza. And how many children starved to death last night? In 1956, Israel invaded Sinai. They invaded Gaza. The United States president at the time, Dwight Eisenhower, put his foot down, and he told the French and the British, get the heck out of the Suez Canal, and he told Israel to get the heck out of Sinai and out of Gaza. Now, where would we be today if we had a president that could have said that 2 years ago?
Excuse me, can you describe again the Elias personality that you met?
Quiet and friendly. Quiet and friendly. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your age, if you don't mind us asking?
71.
All right, that's Elias Rodriguez, or is it Rodriguez? Sorry, let me make sure I got the right name. That's his neighbor. Yeah, he's wearing a Bernie hat. That's weird, but whatevs. He's 71. I'm sorry. That's very ageist of me. My apologies to my to my viewers who might be annoyed at that. I'm kidding. I'm old too. Or not that old. I'm not that old. I'm not 71. Not even 61. Commissary Kate says, I'm 72 and I never wore a Bernie hat. That's why we love you, Kate. No offense intended. You know what's up. You know what's up. All right. When you're in a hole. Yes, I'll stop digging, Bella. Thank you. I appreciate it. Anybody else I can offend? No. This, oh my God. It's gone off the rails. Oh. I need more coffee or less coffee. T-Lab pointing out, did you catch the slip? He's saying that the children are our enemies.
They are our
Israel.
enemies because they are
The children
our
are
enemies.
your enemies?
They are our enemies. Israel, until now, has more protection of human life and children in Gaza than
But
every.
come on, these children are dying of hunger because you have not been allowing aid. This is extreme.
They are not dying of hunger. And in any conflict that England was involved in the past, in this kind of environment, there were more innocent civilians killed and suffering hunger and everything else.
Mr. Smotrich, your leader, has said that the people of Gaza should leave, that the aim is to get them to leave.
It's a combat zone. When there is a combat zone, when there is a terrorist organization who is hiding behind civilians, you should let them run away.
His eyes are telling you everything you need to know about him, that this man is absolutely not all there.
And if you're blocking them, you're aiding and abetting a terrorist organization, using them as human shields. That's not a moral thing to do. And if the United Kingdom want to be a humanitarian country
You're right.
that cares about human rights and human lives, they would help the Gazans who wants to leave the area leave and not aid Hamas to use them as human shields.
I've got an idea. Why don't you let them come over the border into Israel? Why don't they flee into
Because they are
Israel?
our enemies. Because they are
The children are your enemies?
They are our enemies. And according to international treaties about refugees in the time of war, you don't let them conquer your country with refugees.
That was a slip. What about the Israeli settlers? That's literally the game plan. It's a killing field, not a combat zone. Exactly, Bella. Exactly. All right, couple of things I gotta play before we get out of here. Here's Aaron Day telling you about the upcoming technocracy, giving you the inside scoop on the upcoming technocracy. He says this is the way. I'm not doing wearables. I'm not doing Neuralink. I'm not doing transhumanism. I'm not doing the Internet of Bodies. I'm not going to upload my brain to the cloud. I'm not going to get another vaccine ever again. I'm going to work every day to overthrow this monstrous system. Yes, Toby Rogers. Microwaves, indeed. Yeah, that's the thing is that, you know, we're already being inundated and manipulated in so many ways by the tech we currently have. So we're, you know, yes, you want to avoid those upcoming technologies as much as possible. And probably one of the ways to do that is to decouple yourself from the current technologies. Judy says, I'm not going to get a cell phone either. Yes. High five. There's a trend these days of people going back to getting like flip phones or what they call dumb phones that just, you know, make calls and maybe send texts, but there's no access necessarily to the internet. Anybody? So I assume you're on that wave, Judy? Or maybe no phone at all. I don't know. Do you just have a landline? Some people are on that wave. Some people are very low tech while enjoying some tech. A lot of people on this channel are already doing stuff like that. So I feel like I'm in good company. Elon claims the single biggest thing we could do to lift people out of poverty, is to give them the internet. They can learn anything for free and sell goods and services to the global market. All right. Thanks, Elon. Schmuck. You have a landline? All right. Elon has kind of dipped from sight lately for good reason, because people like pretty much hate his ass. And that's fine. I'm here for it. Judy says, I have a landline. Malcolm says, yep, I avoid most websites and software and apps and only use the minimum tech. Right on. Commissioner Kate says, I was about to buy some music online that was presented as demo press from pre-70s psychedelic era. It was all AI generated. A scam to get me to buy digital fake music. What? He's replenishing his gallons. Yes. Judy says, when we moved here over 30 years ago, there was no internet or email. Life was much less complicated. Oh, that's crazy, Kate. That is nuts. I'm glad you didn't fall for it. Man, there are so many scams out there. You really got to be... I do a lot of never answering my phone, which is, if anybody ever tries to call me, trust me, I rarely answer my phone unless it's like people who are directly connected to me. I do not answer my phone because there's, you know, all kinds of Deline says, what? My crap is blocking comments? What do you mean? Explain. I kind of don't understand your comment. But please tell me what you mean by that. What was I saying? I don't know. It sucks because yeah, people are being manipulated, and spied on and steered into it. It sucks because, as I was saying yesterday, I think obviously the internet and the access to information and knowledge could actually be like a transformative point in history for mankind, but instead it's being used as it's being slowly transformed into probably the most oppressive tool. Oh, you crap is blocking comments, YouTube. I got it. Okay. I just didn't know what you meant by you crap. Yes, I know. YouTube does that. Okay, we're going to look at this. Gonna have to. So, from 7Cs, Elon claims the biggest single thing we can do is lift people out. Anyway, this is the TESCREAL spin. TESCREAL spin on global connectivity. It's for their own good. I beg to differ, he says.
So I always like to start with like the nuclear AI powered plants because
and the reason why I'm playing this too is because he starts right off talking about nuclear powered AI and data factories, which is very interesting, right? Because they need a whole lot of power for all these data storage centers. Like lots and lots and lots of power, and that's why the push to name nuclear power as renewable or less destructive energy source. And I'm gonna say this is probably behind the recent kind of infiltration of the narrative that there's nothing wrong with nuclear power, that it's not dangerous. And lately, I don't know. I'm open to all kinds of ideas, but I've heard not a lot, but a few people start talking about the idea that nukes aren't real, or that nuclear energy isn't real, or nuclear power isn't. Whatever. Okay, people are allowed to entertain whatever ideas. And I think I saw that, Delene, the true stream about AI. Yes, I did see that one. Anyways, but there has been a recent push to, legitimize or downplay the dangers of nuclear power. And I think it's coincidental with the advent of these huge, massive data AI centers that are nuclear powered, right? Because they want to make it okay. Because guys, we're going to have to build a whole lot more nuclear power plants for this because we need power, energy. And there's no way that the wind power and the solar power is going to generate enough power for these things. And they have to somehow, you know what I mean? They have to somehow like get through the loophole of, otherwise they're going to end up building a bunch of coal plants to power these things. And they put themselves in a bit of a box as far as that goes, right? Because people are going to be like, wait, I thought it was the climate change. Creative says Oliver Stone did a big push for nuclear energy for some reason. Uranium comes from Africa. Timothy says in Oregon we have the SMR company called New Scale. There has never been a functioning SMR. Oh yeah, 2 years ago, 7 of Russia's top nuke dudes got blown up. Oh, okay. Jolene says nuclear cannot power itself. Well, none of it can. 9. Okay, let's keep going just a little bit.
It's no secret that big tech is now completely inundated with AI in every single step. Just doing some research last year, I noticed that, companies like Microsoft is making deals for like nuclear facilities. Google is also moving into nuclear energy. Amazon, Meta, all of these different companies. I believe Elon has expressed interest in nuclear powered data facilities as well. And I see these as sort of the way for them to power all of these, nationwide data centers. We have over 500 data centers in just the state of Virginia alone. And then you also have, 200 to 300 in California. You have 200 to 300 in Texas, and all of these. And then obviously that extends out as a pattern to the rest of the world. And I think that's sort of where that decentralized centralization comes into play there, where, if you, let's say worst case scenario, this is hypothetically, I don't commend this or anything, but physically destroy one of these data centers. Well, now there's 15, 16 others, in the area that serve as nodes that would sort of be able to pick up that slack and stuff and sort of create this indestructible network of data centers that all interoperate together through things like the cloud. You have Larry Ellison's Oracle, Microsoft as well. This is sort of where this global cloud comes into play here. You have the Google Cloud, you have Amazon Web Services, you have all of these cloud computing things that can sort of funnel all of the data from various locations and integrate it together. It can be extrapolated through like SQL, JSON, fed into different things, and sort of house all of this data virtually. So even if you destroy like the physical aspects of whatever's storing that, they have backups and so on and so forth. And then there's the global satellite connection. So Elon launching rockets, all big tech sort of partnering with different satellite companies as well. And they're wanting to, from my understanding, create this space cloud. There's an article that I saw that said the space cloud satellite strategies for AWS, Google, Microsoft. And you see things like Starlink partnering with T-Mobile and offering coverage for them. Elon trying to push Starlink as this thing that can connect you no matter where you are in the world. My personal viewpoint is they're trying to make sure there's nowhere in the world that you can hide. And they want to make sure you're always on, always connected to the system so they can update things like their, carbon credit blockchain ledger and where you're going and geolocation data and stuff.
Yeah. And that, let's see. I don't know. Yeah, they're trying to, again, Creative says that another reason why AI is fake, built on physical energy limitations. Laws of thermodynamics cannot be broken. What happened to all the talk of like an EMP or something knocking out, a solar flare knocking out all the power to a region of the planet? And that actually, is a thing that can happen, right? And AI, robots, all those things aren't going to be functioning if stuff like that happens. If something like that happens. So it is not, something that is self-propelling, right? It's not. There is an off switch to all these things, right? But they're going to need an awful lot of energy to keep all these things going. And yes, what Seven Seas is talking about is the tracking everybody, making sure that there's nowhere you can hide, all that stuff. That if you have an iPhone, you can be even if your phone is off, they can still track you. So I guess the thing to do is leave it somewhere, put it in a Faraday cage or whatever. If you're going to turn it all off, you got to put it somewhere else or walk away from it. I don't know. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. I've got to take off because I got to be ready to go somewhere. But I will see you on Monday. Y'all are great. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. I don't have a way to check. I think I left my phone somewhere. Speaking of which, I left my phone somewhere. So I can't really check if somebody has contributed to the show, but If you do today or over the weekend, I'll make sure that I get you on Monday. Yes, man. Kraftwerk. Great freaking band. Okay, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. And peace out.